Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? I have a special treat for you today. I have a special guest, Miss Misha Janice. Hello, Misha. How are you?
Hello, is that what you do?
It is what I do. Great job. Do you want to introduce yourself? I've shown some of them your page or on another video, but do you want to tell them what your channel is all about?
Great. Just a quick rundown. My name's Misha Janice. The name of my channel is Misha Janice. I started it not quite a year ago, and I am an attorney licensed in Florida, licensed in New York. My channel happened to be mostly focused on this Adelson trial, the Donna Adelson, Charlie Adelson. I actually started the channel after Charlie Adelson's conviction, put up a video touring one of his Fort Lauderdale properties, and it kind of blew up and threw me in the YouTube algorithm for the Adelson stuff. So I've been covering a lot of that. And I am, just reaching out and covering different cases, ones of interest to me. I covered Karen Reed earlier and a little bit of Courtney Clenny. Nothing much is happening with that case, but I will be covering that now. And I'm delving into Sarah Boone because that is starting. And my goodness, that is a wild and crazy case with just a crazy set of circumstances. And you guys know all the drama already. I've been watching Miss Tanika and she has been breaking it down, making it easy to follow. So I'm just delving in here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we looked at one of your videos on the Adelsons about the property after all the Donna stuff was going on. So anybody who is not up to speed on Adelson, definitely scoot on over to Misha's channel. We'll put links in the description down below so you know where to find her. But as she said, today we're going to get into Sarah Boone. And we're looking at the witnesses. We thought it would be a good time since trial's been delayed. It's starting next week, Monday. We're recording this on Friday, October 11th. Let's dig in. So we want to look at Vinny, the neighbor, and also Brian Boone, what they had to say, what we think they will testify to. Brian for sure is on the state's witness list. I believe Vinny is as well. He is on Facebook, so it seems like they should be able to find him. I also heard rumblings of Owen maybe looking for him, so we'll see. But let us get into it. I've edited some pieces together, and I think this is timely as well because here on the channel we were talking about, did Sarah throw George down the stairs in the suitcase? And Vinny might have a little insight on that. This is his background that the detective wrote down from him, and then we'll get into his audio interview. So basically at 17:49 hours, so 5:49, Detective Scott Lowen recorded this interview with Vinny, and he has some interesting notes about Sarah. I won't read all of this. I'm just going to hit some highlights. But he said approximately 3 to 4 months before the incident, Sarah came over to his patio one evening when he was smoking a cigarette. Oh, my girls are going to act up. And told him she knew he could hear her and George and to stay quiet about what he heard. So I think that's interesting, given that Sarah purports that George is the aggressor, because normally the abused one wouldn't say that, but I'll let you guys decide, and I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on it, Misha. And then the other thing, so Vincent returned back to his apartment on Sunday, February 23rd, which is the day that George got in the suitcase, at approximately 1300 hours from work, so 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Around 1900 hours, Vincent heard the normal yelling and arguing with each other. Vincent heard them yelling. They hated each other. Then it was, he said it was too loud for it to be a joke, right? At approximately 22:30, so 11 or 10:30, Vincent heard yelling, and then it was quiet for approximately 15 to 30 minutes. At approximately 23:15 hours, Vincent heard a loud slamming noise. He explained it sounded like something was bouncing down the stairs between the railing, the wall, and the stairs, like all the way down. Vincent felt the wall shake and had never experienced a noise like that before coming from their apartment. Vincent's roommate, Brandon, whose bedroom is located in the front of the apartment, said he heard it too. Vincent heard nothing after the loud noise. Vincent stayed up until approximately 1 o'clock a.m. on February 24th, so into that Monday. and let's just play it now.
This is the craziest thing I've ever like experienced in my life. Yeah, like
Yeah. All right. This is in reference to case number 20-hours. I am located at the Tealwood apartment complex at, what's the building number? 474 Tealwood apartment complex. I am talking to the resident of apartment, one of the residents. Sir, can you give me your name, please?
it's Vincent,
And what's your date of birth, sir?
1999.
All right, is it okay if I call you Vincent?
Of course.
Okay, well, like I said, my name's Scott Lowen. I'm the homicide detective with the Sheriff's Office. Please just call me Scott. Obviously, we're out here today talking about an incident that occurred with the residents of Apartment 3, which are your direct next-door neighbors, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to kind of preface and start out with a couple of different basic questions. How long have you been living in apartment?
The end of January was a year, so about a year and a month.
Year and a month? Mm-hmm. Okay. And your apartment, from what I can see, is a single-story apartment. It's not a townhome like your neighbors, correct?
Yes, no, it's a single story, yeah.
Okay. Is your bedroom the one in the back, next to the back wall?
Yeah, it's the one where you can like see the kick out from the back patio of their apartment there, yeah.
That's what I was wondering. So your bedroom is right next to their back patio?
Yes.
So you get to hear everything that's going on in the back patio? Or is it
on the back
airtight?
patio and the living room, because their living room at the bottom of their stairs is right next to where my head lays on my bed.
Okay.
So literally, and it was like an every night thing, with the beat, and it wasn't even just him on her. It was like they were going at it, like at each other, and it was like it was just really bad and really loud, like every night.
You mean verbally?
No, like physically. Yeah, it was like.
So what were you hearing?
It was like, I don't like, it was never like I couldn't physically hear like hitting, you know what I mean? But like I heard like thrown up against the wall, or like I've heard thrown down the stairs a few times. Like it's just and it's like that's a very clear sound, you know what I mean? Like you hear somebody up here get down here very fast, and it's like you just kind of know what happened.
Okay.
And it's like, and the reason that like I've never said anything about it, or I was just kind of minding my own business, is because I literally found out that this happened so often, and they were known by the local police here or whatever, that all the neighbors just stopped calling because the police were tired of it, pretty much. Like not like tired of it, but it was like it was just like it was an every week thing, once or twice a week. So it was like, I don't know. And then there was the one night I was standing on my back patio smoking a cigarette, and then she just randomly walked over and like started talking to me about how she like knows I can hear with her. Like you can tell, it was like she wasn't all there.
Okay. Now, as far as their drinking habits, did you notice? Were they heavy drinkers? Did they drink it all? Or?
God, whoa, that's like, I mean, like it was so bad. It wasn't all the time, but it was like there was some mornings where I'd be leaving for school at 9 a.m. and I'd like see him like stumbling off the sidewalk right here, like that drunk at 9 o'clock in the morning, or like even earlier sometimes. It's like it's ridiculous sometimes. But I do have to say, whenever her son was around, that was the only like the times where I never saw them ever drinking. That was the only time, you know what I mean? But like other than that, it was like they were drunk all the time. All the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was very visible, you know what I mean? They were like functioning alcoholics, you know what I mean? It was like they had to drink to get through the day type thing. You know? Did
you know their drink of choice?
No, I'm not sure.
When you were hanging out with them, you never.
No, because like when I was hanging out on the back porch, they weren't drinking. We were just honestly sitting there, and we were smoking cigarettes, and I was just like playing some guitar. But yeah, they weren't actually drinking that day. Okay. And even when I was in the house, I didn't see anything that was like a bottle or anything that they would drink. Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
20.
20.
Yeah.
I'm going to make an assumption here.
Okay.
And I don't mean no disrespect by it, but I'm assuming as a 20-year-old, you have smelled what marijuana smells like when it's burning.
Of course.
Now, have you ever noticed that coming from their place?
No.
They're not smokers.
Definitely not. I don't believe they're like towards like any type of drug. You know what I mean? Like,
good. How are you?
I don't think they like were on any type of drug. Okay. You know what I mean? It was just like very visible, like
they were
alcohol.
Drinkers.
Because like I've had like uncles and stuff that have dealt with it. So like I just know what it looks like to be a heavy alcoholic. And it's just like that's what it looked like. That they just had a lot of drinking problems.
I got you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
Oh, you're fine. God bless you.
Thank you. Were you home on Sunday by chance?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you hear anything?
Yeah, actually I did. Yeah. That night. So I was reading the article online about what happened and everything, and like it's just like that story is just like it doesn't match like what we heard. You know what I mean? Like me and my roommate heard, it's just like it wasn't that quiet. Like the whole like it was a joke or whatever, or like whatever, but it was too loud. Okay. Like I literally like it. I don't know about the whole like what the suitcase deal was and everything, but it was.
Let's do this. Let's back you up.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of get this to flow through.
Okay.
What time did you get up Sunday?
In the morning?
Yeah.
Sunday, I was up at 4:30. I was going to work. Yeah.
Oh cow! What time did you get home?
I got home at 1:00.
So you were at home at 1.
Yeah.
Did you take a nap or anything, or you just power your way through it?
No. Because I get home and then I have class the next morning on Monday. So like I just stay up so I don't have trouble sleeping at night.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I just power through the day,
okay. Yeah. So you get home at 1. Was there already noise going on? It was quiet?
Yeah. It was. I didn't truthfully I didn't hear anything until like and before like the whole loud noise and everything. I just heard like the normal yelling at each other, the verbal yelling and like the whole like arguing and I hate you, blah blah blah, whatever.
That was gonna be my next question. What kind of stuff were you hearing?
Yeah, it was just like the normal like it sounds like a normal
wasn't
couple,
like a really elevated screaming. It was just
no, it was elevated screaming, but it was like normal like
their normal.
Yeah, it was like screaming. Pretty much.
I got you. Okay. So that's the normal back and forth. So that was basically going on starting when you got home.
I would say probably a little later in the afternoon. Later in the afternoon there. Probably around like 7 o'clock. It's like, because I feel like that's when.
I want to pause for just a second because we have their apartment side by side on the screen. So on the left-hand side is Vinny and Brandon's apartment. Vinny is up here, and you can see he's adjacent to the stairs. Like, obviously there's a wall in between, but his bedroom, his head is where the stairs are. So he mentions hearing things falling down the stairs previously, and you could tell it was a person. So I just wanted to give.
Do we know anything more about that? Like, are they just rolling down the stairs from time to time?
That's what it sounds like. He said it. He obviously he can't see it. He can only hear it. That maybe they were pushed because they went down so fast, and not just falling, not like a stumbling sound, but like a push because they ended up at the bottom too quickly.
Wow.
So his entire wall is the stairs, right? So he can hear from the top to the bottom of the stairs.
I know there were other incidents of DV. Has Sarah mentioned in any of her multiple interviews anything about being pushed on the stairs, or she being pushed, or George having been pushed? That's
so she does talk about him dragging her up or down the stairs. There's the audio recording with his brother Juan, where she's like, when they're calling that night, she's like, tell your brother how you pulled me by, it's either up or down, I can't remember, the stairs by my hair. And then there was another time when she was arrested. She was he was trying to go up the stairs to get away from her, and she jumped on him and started strangling him. He kicked her in the face to get her off of him.
Yeah.
And she was arrested for felony dating violence at that time. So they have had, I don't know, on the stairs?
Around the stairs, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a very good visual to have. You can see that Vinny would have heard anything that's going on.
Right. And even you see the upstairs. So one room, I'm assuming it's this bottom one because that one is the master, right? Or the primary bedroom, because of the bathroom here. And then this was Lucas's. So they didn't, if they were in the room, they were in a small space together, right?
Yeah.
This is the closet where Sarah says the suitcase was kept that I've marked. Oh, wait, you can't see my cursor. Sorry. This is the closet here.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there's 2 restrooms. So I take that back. This could have been their bedroom. It looks like there's 2 bathrooms upstairs. But this was the closet because she said it was the one that was in the hallway upstairs. And so I've always questioned if they were taking clothing to be donated in the suitcase, wouldn't you load the suitcase up here? Like, why would you take it downstairs to put the donations in if the donations are upstairs?
Yeah, I don't know. That would seem to make sense, but one thing I've learned is irrational people do irrational things.
Absolutely.
That we just can't figure out, and that just don't make any sense. But, you know, if they're inebriated, a lot of the time, they do inebriating things.
Right. And Lord knows, it seems like they've done a lot.
When like the drinks are settling in and they get a little more violent toward each other, you know, and it's like,
were they outside or was this all inside? You remember?
It's truthfully, when I'm home and stuff, like I'm a music producer, so I'm on my laptop a lot in my room, you know, so like from what I heard in my room, it sounded like they were directly across from me, or like directly across and up. So like either in the rooms there, or like downstairs in the living room in that area right there. So
did you go out on the back to smoke it all that night?
No, actually, I quit smoking. I smoke a vape now, so I stay in my apartment now. It's just a little vape now.
Good for you. That's a big thing. I mean,
well, yeah, and after the law changed and everything, I can't buy them anymore, so I kind of got forced into it, so it was like, this is just like, I needed it to like kind of ease the cigarettes off, but we're working at just trying to go completely off it,
Okay, so, but you're in your room. How late did you stay up that night, you think?
I was up pretty late. I stay up pretty late every night, I just get so lost in my music. I was up probably till like 1 a.m. that night, probably, right around there, And then, like I said, we were just talking about it before, me and my roommate, actually. That night, right around, it was probably right around 10:30, 11 o'clock maybe, is when I heard like it get escalated, like it's like the voices got louder, they were yelling, whatever, and then like it got quiet for a little while, and then I heard this really loud like slamming noise. Excuse me.
Do you know about what time that was?
Right around 11:15. It was about 15 minutes span there, and then
when you say a slamming noise, does it sound like something hit the wall?
Like something like was bouncing down the stairs between the railing and the wall and the stairs, like all the way down. Like, and it was clear because like my roommate even said it too. Like he heard it up here and it kind of went away from him, and he's the front room here. And I'm in the back, so it was kind of like it was in the middle of the house and came right at me, and it was literally right next to me. And I've never felt this before, but that night I was explaining to him the next day because he had said he heard the noise, and I was like, dude, I felt the wall shake. Like it was literally like such a powerful hit against the wall, like the wall shook, and I felt it. And that was like something that where I was like, I kind of looked at the wall and I was just like, that was a little. A little much, but like I thought, and this whole time I really, really thought it was like him, you know what I mean, like going off or whatever. But like I said, I don't know what happened inside, but that's just like what I heard, and it sounded like it was just bouncing, you know what I mean, like down the stairs between like the wall and like.
And that was like a 11:15, you said?
Yeah, it was like because we heard like yelling and stuff around like 10:30, 10:45 ish, and then it got quiet for like 20-30 minutes maybe, and then like 15. Between 15 and 30 minutes around there, And it was like, then that loud noise, and then I heard like shuffling around, and then just we both heard it at the same time. It just got silent, and I was just like, okay, I guess it's over. I guess that was like the last then they're done. Like I guess they walked away from each other.
You didn't hear anything after that?
After that, not loud enough to where I could hear it through the wall. You know what I mean? I don't know if anything.
Did you hear muffled anything or just nothing? Dead quiet.
Dead quiet after that. Because the walls aren't thin, they're not thick.
Yeah, no, I got it.
I mean,
so they could have been over there talking normally, and you would never know.
Because like if they're having normal conversation and stuff, no. But like when they're fighting and they're arguing, you can clear. It's like being on the other side of a bedroom wall, because it's apartments and they're so close.
But at 11:15, that's the last thing you heard. And what you heard was a thump.
Yeah, it was right about that time, like right around 11:15. Yeah, 11:15 ish. Yeah.
And you were up till about 1, and you heard nothing else.
Nothing. I heard, like I said, like a little shuffling around down there, and then that was it.
Did you hear anything? Like, could you make out what hey, have him grab his buddy's stuff, his food, please? I feel bad. Your stuff is on the ground and they're going inside.
Thank you very much.
When they were yelling earlier, could you make out anything, or is it just kind of?
It's kind of just like I was saying. It's like you can like hear the whole like I hate you and then like you clearly. Thank you, bro. You can clearly hear like something like the I hate yous and the clear cursing at each other and stuff, and
I'm going to bring my partner over here.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce her onto the recording. This is Chelsea Kepsel. She's actually the lead investigator on this case. I'm going to kind of surmise what you told me for her, and if at any point I'm misquoting you, please stop me, okay?
Of course, yeah, sure.
He got up Sunday morning, went to work about 4:30, got home about 1. Things were quiet till probably about 7. He said that then he hears the arguing. He said it's the normal. He's in his bedroom. He can hear the I hate you going back and forth, at a pretty much high volume, which is their normal arguing voice. This continues on pretty much throughout the night. But at right about 10:30, you hear a lot of arguing, right? It gets a little bit escalated at that point.
Yeah, it got louder.
Then right around 11:15, they hear this. He hears this banging coming down the stairs. He said hears bang, bang, bang. You can tell it's coming down the stairs because it starts and then it stops right next to him. And when it stopped, he said something just slammed the wall. He said it shook the wall. He said that was the first time he's ever felt like the whole wall shake like that. He said after that, it was quiet. He was up till about 1 o'clock. But prior to that, I was just trying to. Did you hear any threatening anything prior to that? Was anybody screaming, "I'm going to kill you"? Or
no, I never heard anything like that. Not that night.
Have you heard that in the past?
No, I've
Okay.
never, not that I can recall truthfully, like I can't remember ever hearing like, I'm going to kill you or like any type of like threat towards each other like
Yeah.
that. But like, I've also like, it's very visible with them
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right.
It used to be, you know, like it'd be very loud arguing, you know, and then the next morning you see her outside and bruises on her face, or him out here with like scratch marks everywhere, bruises everywhere, you know, it's like, it's just very visible what was going on and everything. And it was just like I was saying before, I just kind of, there was a time where she literally came up to me and she was like, no matter like what you hear, pretty much like just kind of keep quiet about it, you know, respectfully, like mind your own business. And I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
you know,
Remember when that was?
I would about 3.5, 4 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too long ago, but not like very, very recent.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He said the arguing was nightly. He said
Yeah.
the reason the front office hasn't heard anything more is because everybody just kind of gave up calling.
So really quickly, just so you have the context, Misha, at 12 after 11 is when the first recording started with Sarah, and then 23 minutes after 11 was the second video. The first video was 2 minutes and 3 seconds, where she, you know, the infamous video that everyone has seen. So what do you think the
that, I mean, his timing may be a little bit off. He said he heard the huge banging down the stairs at 11:15. That would have been after that first video was taken.
right? It's a 3 minute difference, so maybe it was 10 after when he heard it. Do you know?
Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy ear witnessing that he has. You know, he's heard so much over months and months. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the things that have come out of that apartment that he's heard.
So it seems clear why the state would want to call him, right? Like Sarah told him, don't tell anyone, which indicates that she's not necessarily being abused. I don't know I would, you know, as an ex-abused person, I would want people to help me. Like if it gets rough, you know, help me out or whatever. And then also the falling and the yelling to indicate it contradicts her original story, because now I think we're on story 4 of we were having a good time.
Right.
Why would defense want to call him?
Why would defense want to call him? To find something in his story, maybe to rebut. I don't know. I'm sure they haven't deposed him, obviously, right? So they haven't really, you know, dug into his story at all. I don't know if they would want to call him or if they just want to talk to him to find out if they can dig a little further. I was wondering about when Sarah went over to him and told him, shut up, if it was more threatening or just kind of like more Karen like mind your business. It seemed like maybe it was just mind your own business. Don't worry. Because if it was threatening, then yeah, it definitely would seem to go against, you know, the theory that she was the abused. You know, the abuser would probably want to make those types of threats, like don't tell anybody what you've been hearing about. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look good for her.
No. Yeah, and I do wonder how he said it, because the apartment manager had said there were so many complaints. So I was thinking, oh, she said it because she didn't want him to like make a ruckus about it, like just mind your own business and be quiet type of thing. But it could have been any or either of those situations that
I guess it could be for law enforcement purposes, or it could be for apartment purposes, because they had been spoken with before, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
numerous times.
Yeah. So, I mean, you only get spoken to so many times before they're like, okay, we can't have you guys here anymore because you're causing too much of a disturbance. So it could have been for that reason as well.
Right. Okay. What do you know about Brian Boone, her, as she likes to say, former husband?
Latex husband? Sorry.
That's windy.
He's still alive. Not much. I don't know much about him. just that they were married, they have a child together. I think he had most custody or a higher percentage of custody with the child, and that she called him after things went down. We don't really know what she said, but he was involved to some extent.
Yes, he was. Okay, let's get into it here.
Today's date is February 24th, 2020. The time now is approximately 15:25 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I am currently located in my unmarked agency vehicle in front of 4748 France Lane, apartment number 3 in Winter Park, Florida. Also in the car with me is my partner,
Scott Lowen, Detective Orange County Sheriff's Office.
and your name, sir?
Brian Boone,
Okay, and your date of birth?
5/27/75.
Okay. So, Brian, to my understanding, you were called over here. So can you just take me back to this morning and your involvement with Sarah, which is your ex-wife?
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes. We've been divorced about a year and a half.
Okay.
I started calling her probably 10:30 or so. It's her day to pick up the kid, but
Okay.
it doesn't always happen. 1 or 2 days a week, maybe she gets him.
Out of the 5?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
And what do you pick, like every other day you're supposed to?
well, we're supposed to. She's Monday, Tuesday, I'm Wednesday, Thursday, and we alternate Friday through Sunday. So I was supposed to. I was actually my lawyer back a couple weeks ago. I was looking to get it changed because she can never stick to it. There's always some reason why. So it's general that I start calling her around to find out if she's actually going to get him, even though yesterday she told me she would. So I started calling her about 10:30. Never got an answer until 9. So I finally got a hold of her at 12:49.
And did she call you or you call her?
No, I called her. I called her at 11:25. I did that twice. I always call twice because generally she's asleep or whatever. And then I called her 2 more times at 12:21, and then I called her again at 12:49, and that's when she answered.
Okay.
Freaking out, saying that George was dead, and could I please come over? So I told her, you need to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And went and got my dog in his crate and everything, and started heading over here. She called me again at 12:54 asking if I was going to be coming over, if I'd left yet. And I told her I had already left. I was going to be there in a couple minutes. So I got here, knocked on the door, walked in just right in the front entrance area, told her once again, you need to call the police.
Was she on the phone with anyone when
Not
you
yet,
saw her?
not yet.
Okay.
She was shaking and she was trying to get herself something to drink because she was just like freaking out. So that's when she got on the phone and called, and I said, I'm going outside because I don't really want to be in here right now. So I came outside and I sat in my car until people showed up, and
Okay.
it's kind of where we've gone from there. So
Okay. So you called her about 5 or 6 times before she answered.
yeah, which completely normal.
Normal to you. Okay. The rotation real quick. So Monday, Tuesday, she'll have them. Wednesday, Thursday, you'll have them, and then you rotate each weekend.
Yeah, well,
Like it's every other weekend.
how it's supposed to work. Generally, it's 1 or 2 times, maybe a week. I think she had him last Tuesday was the last time he was actually.
Okay, before we go too much further into her mothering skills there, what are your thoughts that she called Brian first or responded to Brian instead of 911?
I'm trying to figure that out because he's saying he called multiple times and she finally answered, and that's when she told him. I thought she called him.
In her version of the story, she does call him, but in her call logs, he called her. It was like the 4th time he called her, she picked up the phone and said, George is dead.
So I'm wondering what happened between the time that she discovered George is dead and he happened to call her, and she finally told the first person that George is in trouble. How much time elapsed? Because she wasn't calling 911.
Right. So we don't know what time she woke up, right? But what she says is she woke up earlier, then laid in the bed. That Brian was calling her. This is what she told Detective Copsall. Brian was calling her. She ignored because he's the only one who blows up her phone. She says she was upstairs, phone was downstairs, and she was laying in the bed thinking about her day.
Wow. Thinking about her day. Okay.
Which you would think part of her day would be picking up her son. And if that's what she knew, Brian was calling for, just answer the phone and get that sorted
Take care
out.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then she says later she didn't know what to do, but she had no problem calling the police any other time. So it just seems convenient that this time she didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Right.
But he did come straight away because she called him back in the call log like 3 minutes later. Are you on your way? And he says yes. And then 2 minutes later in her call log, she's calling 911. And we know he's there when she's calling.
But he told her to call 911.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of seems like maybe she's delaying the inevitable. She's delaying what she knows is coming, the hoopla and the drama and the lights and sirens and everything.
And is she also making up this hide and seek story? Because we know from Vinny, they were not quiet and having fun.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, was she working on the puzzle to try and finish more of it?
To demonstrate what they had been doing.
To demonstrate, you know,
Okay.
What was she doing? I don't know.
Over here.
And spent the night?
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably another week before that.
What's your son's name?
Lucas. Lukas.
L-U-K. And Boone?
Yeah.
Okay. You think he stayed here last Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was last Tuesday.
Well then, okay, so you technically have him more than she does. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, that's why I said I was.
So even though that's how it's supposed to be, you still have him.
Yeah, it's not a good day. George is in a bad mood, or whatever else reason. I think sometimes just she wants to stay up and drink and can't really do that if she's got to wake up and take him to school the next day.
Right.
Any number of different reasons. So.
Okay. How long have you known Sarah?
Since, let's see here, I was probably 23 or so when we met.
Oh wow.
Something like that.
Since you were 23?
Yeah. So probably 20 years. We dated for quite a while, and then got married, whatever it was, 12, 13 years ago, something like that. Well, I guess 12, 13 years ago before the divorce. So I guess like 14, 15 ago, something like that, maybe.
Okay. What can you tell me about her?
I don't. She's generally not. She can get a bit violent when she drinks. Not to this kind of extent. I don't know what happened exactly. But,
right. No, I'm just looking for.
But that was part of it. The alcohol has gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. That's one of the main reasons why I divorced her. I just couldn't deal with it. I mean, it got to the point where on weekdays she'd go out, and I guess the George person is one of the people she had met. I separated at one point, went over to my parents' house to live for a few months, and I guess she met him over at the pool place or something like that. But I'd come back and we were in therapy trying to work it out, and on a weeknight when he's got school the next day, I've got work the next day. She was out till 3 o'clock in the morning when the bar closes, and she'd bring people back over on the back porch. One time some random person walked in my house and started screaming for Sarah at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to sleep. I just couldn't get over it.
So did you still live here?
No. I bought her out of our house.
Okay.
I was going to just sell it and move because I kind of want to go back to College Park, which is where I'm from. But I thought it would be maybe easier for Lucas if I just bought her out and kept that house, so he had a little bit of continuancy, kind of.
Understandable.
So that's what I ended up doing, and then she moved right down the street here. So.
And how long would you say the alcoholism has been a part of her life?
It's always been a part of her life. It seemed to have gotten worse and worse. I think more or less kind of since we had Lucas. And I think a lot of it was the fact that she kind of, I guess, maybe felt trapped or something.
Okay.
That, before that, whatever she wanted, you're outside having a drink. Oh, I want to go play pool. You go over across the street, you play pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore when she got a kid.
Right.
So.
How old's your son?
He is 9. So, but she started just getting really angry when she drank a lot. She said last night she fell asleep. There were plenty of times where she just basically passed out from drinking. So,
so you've witnessed her pass out from drinking?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And when she passes out, is she out cold?
Oh, she's out.
How difficult would it be to wake her?
Well, if I were to shake her or something, I could probably wake her up. But me making a phone call or noise probably wouldn't do it.
Okay. And would she be in the middle of doing something and just out cold, or would she go to bed?
Yeah, it would be out cold. Yeah, she wouldn't fall over or anything. It would be more of a lay down and then she's just out.
Right. Okay. What do you know about her and George's relationship, if anything?
It was I mean, I think she had him arrested like 5 or 6 times for domestic violence. I mean, he's stuck a steak knife in the back of her leg one time.
Okay.
Every
So he's been arrested. So has he always been the one that gets arrested, or has she ever?
She was also one of the times.
Okay.
One of the times, both of them were arrested. But all the others have been him. But the very next day, she's in there trying to get him bailed out. So
Right.
I don't know. Basically, they get drunk, they get in a fight, she gets upset, she calls the cops. I mean, granted, I saw lots of black eyes, bruises.
On her?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, there definitely was. Now,
would you see George as much as you would see him or her?
I hardly ever saw him.
You hardly.
I honestly, I didn't like being around either one of them.
Right.
To be honest, and him more so. So.
Why's that?
Just, I don't know. It's my ex-wife. She made me really mad with everything. How the whole divorce went down, and just, I mean, the way she acted and the way she changed and the way they both are. I mean, what it's done to Lucas and everything else. He's nobody I cared to see. Let me put it that way. I mean, it's not like I really went out of my way to it's just.
When you guys do drop-offs or anything, is it always through the school, or would you have to come here and see them, or no?
No, it's pretty much always during the school. Now, sometimes she would come over or something like that. Sometimes he would be driving, but I mean, he would just stay in the car, or she would come in. So I mean, I really wouldn't see him.
So it's not like you have conversations with George. Okay.
No, I mean, maybe a few times when they've drunkenly called me at night because she was telling me she needed to escape because of whatever's going on, or she's put him on the phone, but I don't know.
When's the last incident that you recall of there being a domestic dispute between her and George?
I mean, she told me a week ago she had to escape from the house and wanted me to come pick her up. I told her I wasn't going to because I'm just tired of it happening. I mean, it was midnight. I mean, child's trying to sleep, and just honestly, I don't always believe her when she said these things were going on. And
she called you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently she went back inside and slept well. Fine mood the next day. I guess didn't really remember calling me, so I don't know if it was just she wanted to come over to. I don't know. She keeps on trying to come over to hang out or something like that, or
hang out. Can we go back and just talk about her love of alcohol? Because this man is somebody that she's known for over 20 years, right? He knows her intimately for a long time and seen the downward spiral that she's gone through with alcohol abuse. And correct me if I'm wrong, but has Ms. Boone not said to law enforcement that either she doesn't like to drink, or she doesn't like feeling out of control, or she can't get drunk or something like that on the stand the other day? Did she not say something to that effect? I don't even remember.
In her interrogation. So on the stand, she has admitted to being drunk, hungover from the day before,
but not intoxicated.
Yeah. Well, yes, then they got into that. But in the interrogation, I can't get drunk. I don't get drunk. I don't want to drink. I like my Compass Mentis. But here he's saying it's always been a problem.
And hasn't she said in one of her interviews that she did? Oh, no. I don't know if it was an interview, but I was reading the state's latest motion to exclude battered spouse syndrome evidence, and they were quoting her saying she has said that she didn't want to drink that day, but she was trying to keep George at bay by drinking because he wanted to drink. She didn't want to drink.
Right.
She didn't want to drink. She was afraid of him. So she just decided, all right, let me just drink this wine.
Yes. First they were cleaning her house. Then they were doing something else. And then finally she gave in. Because he kept saying he wanted to drink.
They did so much stuff that day. They were so productive. They cleaned the whole house. They did arts and crafts. They did puzzles. I don't know. They probably cooked food, ate. I mean,
they went to Publix twice. Well, he did. She went once. They were busy.
They went shopping.
Got new cigarettes. They were busy.
Very productive. Very productive.
And also in that motion, I think she said they may have played darts out on the patio. She wasn't sure, but that was likely.
She smoked cigarettes with him. Mm-hmm.
They were.
And she just drank because he forced the bottle upon her. I don't know. Wild.
She'll come over to spend time with Lucas rather than actually just having him over here like she's supposed to, but she wants to come over there and play with him. And so I'm not sure how real that was. Last time I know there was an actual physical confrontation. It's probably been a little while because this last time George got arrested, I know he was on free trial, whatever, something. I don't know. He had a parole officer. He had a domestic violence class. He's like...
So that's the last time, basically the last time he was arrested was the last physical altercation that you recall?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
And you have any idea what year or month that may have been?
Back a few months, maybe?
A few months ago?
Yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't think it was incredibly long.
Okay. Like around the holidays of last year, before the holidays?
I think it was probably before the holidays. I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Because oddly enough, there was like a 3-week period where she actually had Lucas all the time she was supposed to because he was in jail for a month or something like that.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't let him out.
Yeah. And you said when she drinks that she can get physically aggressive.
She can. I mean, she did it to me a lot where she'd hit me and stuff like that. I mean, she's tiny.
Yeah. What do you mean hit though? Like open hand smack you or like try to punch you?
Yeah, she'd punch me. I mean, more arms. She many times would use her claws. I mean, I had scratches on my neck at times, on my arms. I mean, things like that where she'd dig with her claws.
Okay.
I never got that drunk and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know. I wasn't there, so but I know she could get violent at times.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't anything too, I don't know, too much. I mean, just
right. Yeah. I mean, you don't feel like she was a huge threat. I'm assuming, right? No. Yeah. Like you could handle yourself.
Yes.
Does she drink daily?
I think pretty much.
Okay. Do you know like her drink of choice?
That would be vodka.
Vodka.
Or wine, but vodka is the big one.
And does she or George have a job?
No. She hasn't worked for over 2 years. Well, I guess you could maybe call what he's got a job. He worked at the Ace Hardware up across the street here.
Okay.
Which is now going out of business.
Okay.
He kind of off and on worked there. When he did work, it was 15, 20 hours a week, something like that. I mean, my alimony and stuff basically pays for where they live. So, I mean, they didn't need a ton, but, I mean, she was always calling to borrow money. And
Okay, so a little bit of context, because I'm not sure if you know, she started dating George while she was still married to Brian. And then also when he said George only worked like 15 hours a week, me and the other True Crime Lovelies questioned that because he was a manager there. And so how would he manage people if he were only there 13 hours a week? But it could have been, you know, as he said, he didn't talk to George. So that could be the story that Sarah told him because she's always asking him for money. And I also feel like Brian downplays that he was abused, even though he's saying I was bigger, she wasn't a real threat. Obviously, it's not normal for your partner to be hitting you with hitting you at all, but then hitting with her fist and scratching at his neck. He was
probably used to it. He was probably used to it. And if it was any worse, I mean, he probably wouldn't want to say it. I mean, she's still the mother of his child. And, you know, he looks like a big guy. I guess he wasn't always a big guy because some of the early pictures of him, he looks pretty small, but he looks like a big guy. Maybe he doesn't want to be known as, you know, a guy that is getting beat on by his wife.
Fair enough. He's definitely tall, and yeah, he's put on weight since they were first together. But I think he's like 6'2", 6'4", something. He's a big guy in that regard, for sure.
Yeah, I was also wondering if he was holding back any information about Sarah. Like, he seems to be pretty transparent, but I'm just wondering if it was any worse than what he's maybe saying.
But yeah, it's been like 2 years since she got a job. She keeps on telling me she's looking and she's always finding the good opportunities and everything, but
right.
Okay.
Do you want to take it?
It's my dad. Just
sure.
one second. Hey. Well, just wait. I'm talking with the detectives right now, and I should be heading out here soon. So I can come get him, okay? Is John out? Oh, okay, is he awake? Okay, good. Okay, well, I should be up there very soon. Okay, bye. Sorry.
Okay. We were just on the phone with someone. Okay. When you came over here, I know you said that she called you freaking out saying he was dead. Did she give you any more, like, did you ask why or how?
She told me that they were playing last night or something, and he got in the suitcase and she fell asleep.
Okay.
That's all she told me, so I don't know anything beyond that.
Okay.
And I really didn't talk to her much because I came inside, I told her you need to call the police, and then I came back out, and I think she went on the back porch to smoke a cigarette, so I didn't even really talk with her much.
Oh, like she was going outside. Did you see her take a cigarette?
Yeah, she was going outside with well, I also know when the cops showed up, she kept on telling them she had a cigarette burning out there and she needed to go put it out.
Okay.
But they were keeping her away from stuff, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, she wanted me to come back there with her. I was like, I'm going out here. I don't really want to be in here, so.
Right. And that's when she went to call 911.
Meanwhile, she was pretending to do CPR and she had a lit cigarette.
So she did pretend.
It had to be. When did she have time to light the cigarette? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then she didn't put it out because later she says on body worn camera, she's trying to get out there. I have a lit cigarette in the back. And the officer's like, you can't go back in there, ma'am.
Oh, geez. Priorities. Oh.
Well, she called 911 while I was in there. I was standing right in the foyer area.
Okay.
And I mean, it was apparently a pretty quick conversation, and that's when she started to go that way, and I just told her I'm going out front. So.
Okay.
It was an 8-minute
so they were playing,
conversation.
and she went upstairs and went to bed.
I don't know where she went. She just told me she went to sleep.
Or she went to sleep. Okay, you don't know where.
I don't know where.
You didn't ask more questions.
I didn't ask more questions. I leave that to you guys.
Yeah. No problem.
Hey, I'll let you know when I'm done talking to these guys, okay? Hello? That's okay. All right. Never mind. Okay, bye. I'll call you when I'm leaving. All right, bye. Sorry.
It's okay. When's Lucas's birthday?
10/28/10.
Okay. Okay.
So.
When's the last time you were in this house?
Well, I was in the foyer.
No, not today.
Oh, other than before today? I'm trying to remember if I've been in there. I haven't even really been over here lately.
So it's been a long time.
It's probably been at least weeks, maybe.
Does Lucas play baseball or anything yet?
We've tried to get him into sports. He's not a big sports person, really.
Did you ever play baseball?
He didn't play baseball. Well, I mean, I had like a t-ball set and stuff like that, and we'd play catch.
Was it like a plastic t-ball set, or what kind of equipment did you have?
Oh, no, this is when he was like 3 years old. It was a little plastic thing I had in the backyard.
Did you ever buy him any baseball bats or anything?
I bought one for over here that Sarah said for Lucas and George to like play with or something. That was like a year ago or something, maybe.
What kind of bat was it? Was it a wood bat?
Yeah, it was a wooden bat. I think it was like a junior size thingy. I don't know. It's something that I look like kind of for his height or something, I think.
All right. Sorry.
Okay. Would you mind if I took a picture of your call log to show
Sure.
that you've all the
You just want to
attempts?
see hers, or you, like zoomed in on hers so you can see all those?
Yeah, that's perfect. So I'd say starting from today. I know her phone.
Did you text with her at all today?
Not today. I don't think I did today at all.
Sorry.
That was last night. She was drunkenly texting me.
Last night?
Yeah.
What time?
That was 11 o'clock at night. I think that.
Last night was Sunday. Does it say?
Oh, that's Saturday. Never mind.
Saturday.
That was Saturday night when I was watching the baseball game.
Okay.
Yesterday, which is that, she said her account was in the negative, so I transferred her a little bit of money to get her out of the negative.
She sent you. Oh, that was morning. Okay, so she thanked you at 11:56 that morning.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What's the last thank you? What time? Okay, so just a few
Yeah,
times.
and then that one at 12:01.
Okay, so afternoon, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the calls. Do you need like?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yep, I'll start from the top where it has her information. Go ahead. You can scroll down, and that's fine. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Has Lucas ever told you anything about her, like witnessing anything between her and George?
He's heard arguments and things like that.
Okay.
He's not a big fan of staying over here, honestly.
Okay.
Just because they get in arguments and stuff like that. I don't think they've ever had a physical fight in front of him.
Okay.
But I know there's been arguments he's told me about.
Okay.
There's been times where I think things were starting to get to that point, and she has called me to come pick him up.
Okay.
And bring him back over to my house. So
yeah. Okay.
She's generally pretty good about having me come get him if, which leads to me not having a life because I can't ever do anything.
Right.
I can't go anywhere because I'm too worried about something happening and me having to be over here quickly.
Yeah. Okay, do you have anything else?
Yeah, do you know if she's ever had any issues with drugs in the past?
To my knowledge, she's never really been a drug person. She's big on alcohol, but I don't think she's ever done. I mean, I think she told me like one time, like back before we got divorced, that at I don't know, this bar thing over there across the street near the Walgreens, whatever it's called.
Okay.
I don't know there, but somebody gave her a little bit of cocaine, like 2 years ago or something like that. I've never known her to do drugs.
What about George?
No clue whatsoever.
She's never complained to you?
No. That's not to say these things don't happen, because I try to keep myself out of and away from them in general. But
right.
Which vehicle is yours?
The Prius right up here.
In front of us?
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
That is what I got sent. I know it looks like a vanity thing. No, that's just this last time they, I guess, sent me a new plate and that's what was on it.
Awesome. So you can make that up whatever you want it to be.
I could.
Tell them it's for racing. You're going to.
Yeah, I know you're racing.
Yes, racing in my Prius.
I'm not saying you win. I'm just saying you race.
Oh man. Okay. Anything else, Scott? Okay. Is there anything else that you think is important for us to know that we have not asked you about either George or Sarah?
I don't think so.
When I mean, you guys have been separated for, what do you say, 5?
We've been divorced about a year and a half. We were separated a good 8 months before that or so. And we'd been separated one other time before that, before we got back together and we're trying to do therapy, which didn't work at all. So
how long has she been living in this apartment?
Ever since we got divorced. So
a year and a half ago?
No, longer than that then. Because I took over the house. I moved in there and she moved here. Because I told her I was buying her out of the house. So I guess it has been longer than that. I think she just said she renewed, so maybe just past 2 years.
Okay.
That may be right.
I think she said she's been here like 4 years.
No, she's been with George. I don't remember what she said.
Yeah, she was with George before we were divorced. So
yeah. Okay. And anytime that you recall when you guys were together, and she would be drunk, did she always like resort to getting angry? Like, is she an angry drunk, or would she like?
Her main problem is she can't stop.
Okay.
I mean, she can't go out and have a glass of wine with dinner.
Right.
That's not a thing she can do because once she starts drinking, she will continue drinking basically until she out.
She goes to sleep.
Yeah.
If she were to be drunk, would she like want to play games with you? Like, did you guys?
Oh, there's a really good period where she is very good, but then she drinks past that and she gets into the angry bits.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can you just raise your right hand for me? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate?
So there's one more interview they have. I'm going to skip to that. But while I look for that, thoughts?
So they looked at his call log. She took screenshots of it, I think, or maybe a video. I don't know. The next interview that we see with him, is that after they've realized the log is okay? All right. I was wondering that.
Yeah, that he deleted the message. Do you want to go through that first, and then we'll talk
Was it
about
a message or a phone call?
It was a phone call at 11:46 that he deleted from his call log.
Right.
So they saw it on Sarah's call log
Yeah.
later and went back and asked him.
Okay. I'm curious to see what he says about that.
I'm also curious to know if he deleted it in the moment, like contemporaneously after he hung up, or I'm sure we'll find out if it's important in trial, because they can tell when it was deleted, or if he deleted it after the 911 call.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. I mean, what does that show about his mental state to be deleting messages? Does he delete all of her messages? Clearly not.
Right.
So why just that one? I don't know.
And what did she say? So let's listen to it, because they do ask him that, like what was said.
Today's date is March 1st, 2020. The time now is approximately 16:41 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I am on the phone with, can you state your name, sir?
Brian Boone.
And I have a couple follow-up questions that I wanted to ask Brian Boone in reference to this case. Brian, just give me your date of birth for me.
5/27/75.
Okay. And do you promise and swear everything we're going to talk about is going to be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a conversation about the incident and your involvement a few days ago, earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday. And after looking through Sarah's call logs, I noticed that she called you on February 23rd, which would be the Sunday night at around 23:46 hours, and that's military time, but in normal time, that's 11:46 hours. Do you recall that phone call?
I do, well, somewhat. I was asleep when she called. So she woke me up. I was half asleep when I was talking to her. She did sound very inebriated.
Okay.
I don't remember what all she said. I'm kind of used to her calling drunk late at night and things like that, so it didn't faze me as anything out of the ordinary. I basically just kind of got her off the phone and told her I'm going back to sleep and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. You said that she sounded inebriated, like she was drunk?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't sound like, it's hard. I was half asleep at the time. I don't think I remember hearing anything bad in the background or anything that would have caused me concern, but I don't really remember it that well.
Okay. But she was under the influence of alcohol based off of your knowledge of just knowing her and knowing when she's not under the influence.
Yeah. As soon as I heard her start talking, I almost kind of just zoned out away from it because she says all kinds of nonsense when she does this late at night, and I was trying to get her off the phone so I could go back to sleep. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm on the phone right now. You can get yourself right off. Get yourself right off. Your pajamas are right here, okay? Hold on, buddy. I'm sorry.
It's
sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember her saying anything specifically about George?
I don't think so. I don't really remember. I really don't remember much of the conversation, honestly.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, and the phone conversation lasted for a little over 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken?
May have been, yeah.
Okay. And you said that is kind of normal for her to call you late at night or just kind of whenever she's under the influence and she's kind of just babbling on and you have to try and get her off the phone.
Yeah,
if you don't
it's a thing that happens.
Okay. Okay, so you can't remember anything specific about what she may or may not have said, but she did sound inebriated. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear anything in the background?
Not that
as far as like arguing or yelling or anything like that, you couldn't hear any of that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know where she was located? Did she ever say?
I was assuming she was at home.
Okay, but she didn't say.
I mean, she didn't have a lot of money. She didn't really go out anywhere, so I assumed she was at home.
Okay. But you wouldn't know where in the house she may have been?
No.
Okay, she didn't give you that information. Okay.
Not that I remember. It's possible she said something. I don't really remember, though.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think is important for me to know about that phone conversation?
I don't think so.
Does that typically, do you guys talk often? Like in a day's time? Like, do you guys talk daily?
More than I would like. Normally, anytime I'm calling her, it's to find out if she's actually going to be picking the child up like she's supposed to.
Right.
Like that next morning with me constantly calling.
Right.
She'll call to talk to Lucas, or sometimes when she's drunk, or she wants me to come pick her up because she's scared of George, or any number of different things.
Okay, you're kind of like her call person, like she.
Yeah. It's gotten very old over the last couple of years, so I've started to just kind of ignore what she's saying and just try to get her gone as soon as possible.
Right.
Because honestly, for a long time, I tried to help her out, give her refuge, get away from him, and she just kept bringing him back, and I eventually just gave up on the situation. So.
Right. Okay. All right. Do you promise and swear everything that we have talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Tanika, is it me, or did the detective not ask, why did you delete it?
she didn't.
Thoughts on why?
I don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
fessed up really quickly to having made that call, but why didn't you delete it? Do you delete all the other calls that Sarah makes to you late night where she's rambling and it's a usual thing? Do you delete all of those? I'm curious.
And I don't think they did a full download on his phone. She just took those screenshots, so they don't have a record of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was not of consequence to them at the time. I'm not sure. It just seems odd.
I agree. I mean, I guess they just weren't looking at him with any kind of suspicion, I suppose.
Right.
So maybe that's why.
And at that point, when they're interviewing him, Sarah has not gone down yet to the, let me see, let's go back and listen to the beginning of what time she says in the...
Today's date is March 1st, 2020. The time now is approximately 16:41 hours.
You then talk to them.
She was in custody at that point on March 1st. She was in custody. So maybe he's just trying to cover his own behind, and he's got the son and is like, I don't remember. Even if he remembers, what good would it do now?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe,
and she was pretty wasted because we heard her. That's when, it was after she finished the last tape when she was like slurring.
That she called him. Yeah. Maybe defense counsel will ask him when he's on the stand.
They're calling him as a witness too. He's on their battered spouse witness list if that comes in.
It won't. Well, it might not. Interesting.
When will they decide if it comes in or not? I know there's an open motion that the state filed to have it, either to have it totally taken out or to have it limited until she testifies about what the danger was. Like, when will the judge decide? Because one of them is in limine, right? So he has to decide it before.
It'll probably, with opening statements and stuff like that, they don't want it mentioned in opening statements, I would imagine. So it'll probably be heard sometime, I don't know, maybe during jury breaks or like picking the jury breaks, sometime before opening statements.
Okay.
I could see it happening during a break, or, they get there early in the morning before jury selection, or they stay a little bit later.
Okay. I remember in the Depp v. Heard, they had a lot of motion and limines to sort out before opening statements. Yeah.
The judge usually just finds some time, to get it done. A lot of the times with motions like that, I mean, sometimes juries are given like an entire day if there's enough motions, or they're let go early so that the motions can be heard, or they start the day a little bit later. So
wow.
First, we saw a lot of that in the Karen Reed trial.
Okay. I couldn't get through that one, but I'll take your word for it.
Oof, girl, it was
Oh
long.
my God.
It was super
While I
long.
have
I
you-
bit off more than I could chew. I did a daily recap of it. It was a lot.
Yeah, I watched a couple days, but I couldn't. It was a lot going on with like the party cups, the solo red
Oh,
cups to collect evidence, and
yes,
that was very
the
strange.
local police officers collected evidence in red Solo cups that they got from the neighbor's house. So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
So I have to ask you this because I posted a video a few days ago and everyone was asking when Sarah refused the plea deal. Like from your perspective as a lawyer, do you think that state will ask her again or offer it again, or that ship has sailed?
I think if I remember correctly, she may have until it's rejected. I don't know if they have to hold it out to her again, but if anything, I believe it would have to be accepted before the jury is impaneled. I believe. I
Okay.
could be wrong.
Okay.
Now, listen, I was never a criminal attorney. I was never a criminal attorney. But from my understanding, that's when it would have to be, brought up again before
Okay.
a jury.
Yeah, I was hypothesizing they didn't, at least in my mind. I hope they don't have to say it again. And that's why it was put on the record. Like she has rejected it, because some people were saying, oh no, they have to offer a deal. And I'm like, nobody offered Donna Adelson a deal. And she's also in Florida. So I don't think that's like a Florida statute that they have to be offered.
The defense can also propose a deal. And we heard that in the Donna Adelson trial. Judge Everett was asking, is the state going to offer her something? And is she going to have a proposal? And of course, she was like, no. I don't think Sarah Boone will say, hey, take me. I'll take, I don't know what she would want, because the deal that she was being offered was quite sweet, in my opinion. Say she wanted time served or something crazy like that. She could still say, I'll do time served.
It's very curious. Yesterday was her birthday, the 10th. So she's 47 now. If she had taken that, she'd be out, relatively young. She'd be out in her 50s. If it goes down the way I hope it goes down and she gets a new forever home, she'll be in there forever.
Yeah.
Like, why risk it? So I just found it curious. But I'm also wondering if she thinks, well, they are offering this because their case is not strong, so I'm gonna go for broke. But we'll see.
I don't understand it unless she's completely delusional. I don't understand why she would think that their case is not strong. It's recorded on video, for one. I'm not sure if she's thinking that, this battered spouse defense that she wants to tell the jury about. I don't know if she thinks that that's enough to surmount the fact that, she locked him in a suitcase and he died. I don't know. And I don't know what the arguments that she and her attorney, Owen, were supposed to have had. Wasn't there a day? I think it was Owen.
Last Sunday, they were argued. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Where
jail.
we heard that they were arguing. And I mean, I've got to believe it's probably related to the plea deal.
Right. Or last Saturday. Yeah, I think so too. I think he was trying to talk her into it. And she was probably like, you don't believe in me. And, whatever her ad said, you have to have zeal. You have to think outside the box, all those things, He can't tell her no, clearly, because she's running the show.
It's going to be a show. It's going to be a show. I mean, I don't know what they're going to pull out their sleeve, but it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It just doesn't make any sense why she would not have taken that deal when she could be out in, 5 years, perhaps, and still see her son, before he reaches 20.
Right.
I don't know. It's really sad. The entire case is sad. You see what alcohol abuse, how you can end up.
Right. And I feel sorry for the Torres family. They're going through a lot. I hope they're not allowed to, the defense, Owens and the Get Fresh team are not allowed to drag him and his family through the mud.
Right, right. Yeah. And I think that's part of what they wanted to do with the battered spouse defense as well,
Right.
is bring in evidence of, past DV and some past trouble that he's gotten into. But I actually heard that, George was a stand-up guy and he wasn't in trouble with the law until he met Sarah.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, several people have been researching it, and yeah, he doesn't have any record prior to. I think he had like a speeding ticket or something, but nothing violent
It
prior
just
to
makes
Sarah.
you wonder, like, what do people see in people like Sarah?
I think she's probably very charming in the beginning. No, whatever her disorders are, I think she does that the honeymoon phase. She seems like she would have been fun and carefree until you really get to know her, until like her mask comes down.
But they had a history of the DV, right? The police have been called
Right.
multiple times.
Yes, across several years. Yes.
Yeah. I guess sometimes when you're in that situation, you feel stuck and maybe you don't have anywhere else to go, so you just end up staying, I would imagine.
Yes. Well, the next video we do, we'll talk about some of the other witnesses. But there's also a theory that what if George was trying to leave her that night because some of his things were in the suitcase, right? And so maybe he had it, and that's a very dangerous time in a DV relationship, is trying to get out.
You're right.
So
who
some
would
of
be
the
able to testify to that?
Say that again.
Who would be able to testify to that? His brother, maybe?
Perhaps his brother. It's interesting what some of the what the property manager has to say about their relationship. Like, it had been discussed. Probably everyone did, but a lot of people had discussed, they shouldn't be together. There were police officers who told George in some body cam footage, like, why do you keep coming over? Even if she calls you, you're not supposed to be here. You're not safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, there was like medication and stuff. His medication was in the suitcase, his phone, some other stuff, like a necktie, which clearly he wouldn't have been wearing a necktie. There were some things of like, he could have been planning to leave. I mean, it's a theory. We don't know, right? But
she's the one who said it was stuff they were getting ready to donate.
Right.
So we may not know the truth.
But I think we can know circumstantially, like, is there a pile somewhere of things that were going to be put in the suitcase to be donated? Like, how far in the process of getting the suitcase ready for donation were they?
Girl, because if it's anything like my life, I just have a constant donation bag.
Yes, me too. Oh my God.
Keep pulling it up. Oh, nobody would be able to tell if it were me.
So we'll see. Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was great. This was wonderful.
And I'll put in the description below how they can find you, a link to your channel and all that fun stuff. And then, we'll get together for round 2 of witnesses.
Yes, let's do it. What is your plan for the actual trial?
I'm off for the first day. I don't know if they're going to air
jury selection.
The selection. So I'm hoping they'll at least cover the in limine motion, and so I'll cover that. Other than that, I'm going to do recaps because I got a full-time job and a baby and 2 dogs.
Yeah, you're right. They probably won't air the jury selection because they didn't start doing that last Monday.
Okay.
Before it didn't go through. Wait, was that last Monday?
Yeah, the 7th. It was 5 days ago. It's been a long week.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it has been a very long week. I'm in Florida, so.
Are you okay? Oh my God, I'm so rude. Yes. I didn't even ask. Is everything?
Yes. Thank God we were not affected so much in South Florida. There were a record number of tornadoes in the area, but thankfully, we're good.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's been a wild set of weeks with Helene and this other hurricane that just went through Milton. But
Milton, yes. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, thanks for asking. All right. So I guess we'll see you next time when we see the other witnesses.
Yes, I'm going to say toodles to all the lovelies. Toodles.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you next time. I'm going to play the outro.